very glad to see you all back in 2026 for our Tech Talk Tuesday. Today we are going to be introducing you to our TBR AI Literacy Framework. So this is going to be the first in a series. We are recording, so if you have friends that didn't get to catch up with us today, we will have those on our site. But this is going to be the first in our series. And we're really looking forward to these conversations with you. So for those of you that are, maybe this is your first time with us, maybe you just need a reminder, this is our AI Learning Collaborative team here at TBR. I'm Sarah Hazelton. On my team with me are Aaron Hughes, Jamie Nelson, and Pari Bott, and together we are the AI Learning Collaborative here at TBR, which means that we really enjoy geeking out about all things AI with you and helping you with the implementation of AI and in whatever your role might be. So if you've been here for a second, you might have also heard me saying housekeeping tips. I give these to you every time because they are that important. So first things first, make sure you are protecting your information. Anytime we're talking about using any AI tool, it does not matter. You need to make sure that your PII is protected. So don't put any PII into any of the tools. Make sure you're protecting if you're using student information or examples or any of those things, make sure that you're responsible in protecting your students as well and not putting their PII in to one of the tools. And this comes to us from our friends in our TBR IT team. We do not allow third-party AI tools for recording in our session. So things like Read AI, Otter AI, any of those things. The reason we don't is because of the terms of service and the privacy protections. We are not always clear with some of those third-party tools what those are. However, any of the tools that are in a platform that is through your institution. So we're using Teams, we're recording in Teams because we have a contract for Microsoft. If you have Zoom accounts, do have some great AI tools. If that's through your institution, that's completely okay. But know that if you come in here and you have some Otter AI, Read AI, any of those additional tools, and we happen to see it, we will very politely and quietly kick it out of our meeting. So we like to tell you that up front. We also like to tell you that we are the guide on the side. We're your friend in the back. If you happen to come off mute and you don't mean to, or something like that happens, know that we're going to mute you. Nobody wants to be that person that comes off mute screaming at their dog. So we will be your guide on the side, and we will mute you if you do accidentally come off mute. That said, we do like to have an interactive session, so please think about, please interact when you would like, but I always like to tell you up front kind of the ground rules. So let's dive in to today, because one of the things we have some really exciting stuff to share with you, but I want to take just a quick couple minutes to kind of level set with you. And the reason that's important is because if you're like me and you hear, there's a lot of words, there's a lot of vernacular and vocabulary and all these things that come flying at you with AI tools. It seems like every time I turn around, there's some new terminology being used and my brain says, what are they even talking about? Can we pause and speak the same language? So we decided that was really important. So I want to level set for just a quick minute on what these frameworks are. So we have an opportunity to support productive use across the TBR system, right? And a framework is just that. It's a framework to think what we're going to be talking about, what we're going to be introducing is high level. The whole purpose is to provide a guiding structure that allows us to have a common language, right? It allows us to speak the same language when we're talking about effectively and responsibly using AI. It helps us focus on productivity, ethical use, institutional trust. It helps us support working smarter, but not replacing that professional expertise, right? So this is that high level. These frameworks that we're talking about, our TBR AI frameworks, are high level. They provide that shared language and direction while still allowing for flexibility and professional judgment. And that's really important when we're talking about the use of AI tools. So the purpose of these frameworks is to help address some challenges that I know you've seen. We see them all the time, right? AI tools are already out everywhere. They're in the modern workplace. We see them all the time. We know that our students are using AI. Whether or not we've provided guidance or not, our students are already using AI. Faculty need a shared language without prescriptive rules. We've learned this important thing about faculty. Prescriptive rules don't work really well. We don't like them, but we need a way to talk about the tools that we are using. Our staff are screaming for help in how to use AI tools to be more productive. How do we use these tools to be productive, but not put our institutions at risk, right? This is a question we get a lot. And we know that institutions like consistency, but nobody likes overreach. So how can we do that efficiently? That's what these frameworks are for, right? So these frameworks are going to help with that improved efficiency, maintaining accuracy, protecting data, ensuring some ethical decision making. So these frameworks, as we go through, I want you to think about them as providing some clarity with flexibility. And the focus is on using your judgment, that professional judgment, over a specific. We're not going to be, the frameworks are tool agnostic. So we're not going to be saying use this tool, use that tool. We're going to be talking about using these frameworks as a way to support using your professional judgment. Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper into the TBR AI frameworks. So ultimately, there's going to be 4 frameworks. We have a student AI literacy framework and a staff AI literacy framework that we're going to be focusing on today. There is going to be a faculty AI framework and an executive leadership framework. We're calling it guiding questions. Those will be coming soon, but we wanted to be intentional today, and we wanted to make sure that we can focus on just a couple things because there's a lot in these frameworks. So today we're going to be focusing on that student AI literacy framework and that staff AI literacy framework. So remember that these frameworks are just an overarching kind of guide, right? And we've pulled from, so the frameworks are developed locally, but we've pulled from existing sources like EDUCAUSE and UNESCO and World Economic Forum. There's some existing AI frameworks out there. The reason we didn't take just one framework and try to apply it is because we also wanted to intentionally align our work with, you remember that thing that launched in 2025, that TBR core competencies? Any of you in Gen Ed might have heard. We've launched the core competencies, right? So not only do we need to effectively provide a framework for using AI, but we want to align it to the work that we're doing across the system. And so that's why we've pulled and informed a TBR AI literacy framework instead of using someone else's, is to make sure that we can align it with the work we're doing here in Tennessee. So we're going to be focusing for the next couple sessions on the student AI literacy framework and the staff AI literacy framework. So the student AI literacy framework, the primary audience for that is going to be students. Remember, this is super high level, so it's not going to be discipline specific. It's not going to be program specific. It's going to be really high level, but this can also be really helpful for faculty as well in designing learning activities, aligning the work that you're doing with workforce needs. So faculty can learn a lot in exploring these student AI literacy frameworks. The staff AI literacy framework, we call it a staff framework, but truly it can be applicable across multiple roles, because this framework is really focused on AI productivity competencies, okay? So we're gonna really live in that space because it gives us a good mix of academic and productivity. So let's make sure that we've got this really well in hand, because we're gonna be talking about frameworks for a couple of months. So the frameworks are a decision-making, they're a tool to support decision-making. They provide that shared competency language. You're going to notice they're all anchored in competencies because we love our competency work. And they're designed to provide guidance for learning activities. What they are not So these frameworks are not a mandate. They are not a policy, although they are aligned with the expectations of the TBR AI policy. It is not a policy in and of itself. It is not a checklist. You are not required to know every single competency in every single framework. That's not realistic. It is not a checklist where you check everything off and all of a sudden you're AI literate. That is not what these are. These are a guiding framework, and it is not, the frameworks themselves do not require you to use AI. So I want to pause right there because I just threw a lot at you, and it's really important that we're all on the same page. Does anybody have questions about what the frameworks are, or why we're doing this, or anything related to kind of level setting on the framework?